Hi, and welcome to Your United Way. I'm Monique Zuber. I'm the Community Impact Director for the United Way here in Paducah, McCracken County, and I'm also your host for today's show. And we're excited to have two guests with us today. And before we get started, I'll have them introduce themselves as Ellen Walsh and Jennifer Doom. And Ellen, if you'll start and just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, my name's Ellen Walsh. I work at Four Rivers Behavioral Health in the Regional Prevention Center. I'm a certified substance abuse prevention specialist, and I try to get prevention done in the communities of Western Kentucky.
All right, and Jennifer?
And my name is Jennifer Doom, and I am the current Reidland Middle School 21st Century Project Director, which is their after-school program. But before that, I had been the tobacco coordinator for the last 5 years for the health department.
All right, and they're joining us today to talk about the McCracken County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition, and we're in the process of applying to become a Kentucky ASAP board. And Ellen, if you could tell us before we get started, what is a Kentucky ASAP board? What does that stand for?
Kentucky ASAP stands for the Kentucky Agency for Substance Abuse Policy. And there are 117 ASAPs in 120 counties in Kentucky.
All right, and you've both worked with substance abuse on different levels throughout our community. Can each of you tell us a little bit about how substance abuse is currently affecting our community?
Well, I think we've heard a lot recently about prescription drug abuse. We certainly have a problem with that in Western Kentucky and Paducah and McCracken County with both youth and adults. I think by far, though, probably our biggest problem is alcohol with youth, underage drinking. And it affects youth in a lot of different ways, not just DUIs and car accidents that you hear about. But I think maybe a lot of people aren't aware that the brain is not fully developed until a child is 25 years old. So when those kids drink and drink to excess, like kids have a tendency to do, it affects that brain development in a negative way. And then, of course, we also have issues with marijuana is coming back. We hear a lot about the legalization of marijuana and passing medical marijuana legislation, which makes kids think that it's not as dangerous as it is.
Okay, Jennifer, do you have anything to
Well, I
add?
know that in schools, one thing that it's really common that you hear of, like, they'll have a guest speaker come in or something like that. But we in substance abuse prevention really believe that it takes different activities throughout the entire year, not just a one-time thing. So we're really working hard to get curriculums in the school, as well as having like clubs and different things that are ongoing throughout the entire year and not just a one-time thing.
All right, well, through our impact poverty study at the United Way, we did talk about all of these different avenues of preventing substance abuse throughout our community. And like we mentioned earlier, a Kentucky ASAP board is what we would like to be certified as. And so if you all could talk to us about what a Kentucky ASAP board does.
Well, and a Kentucky ASAP board brings a lot of different members in a community together to the table. Community members like the schools, law enforcement, the media, just all those people, because prevention really needs to be done at the community level. We need community level change to make a difference in substance abuse. And so the more people you get to the table, the more resources you have, the more ideas you have, and better planning can get done.
Absolutely. We also know that there are so many different agencies in our area working on it,
Right.
that when we are able to sit at the table and all tell what we are doing, we're able to make sure we're not all hitting the same area over and over again, and that we're branching out and using all our resources to the best of our ability.
Right, better to work together and be more efficient than kind of provide duplicate services.
Absolutely.
And I know both of you have served on other Kentucky ASAP boards throughout our region. Is there anything in specific that stands out to you about what some of those boards are doing and what's working for them?
Well, several of the boards have gotten curriculums in the schools, which is very important. Some of them have worked on a smoke-free ordinance similar to the one in Paducah, which is great, by the way, that Paducah has that. I think one of the most exciting things is the Office of National Drug Control Policy sponsors drug-free community grants, which is $125,000 a year for 5 years, with the possibility of 5 more years, an extension on that grant. So a lot can get done when you have one of those. Callaway County just finished their 10 years, but Graves County has just been awarded one.
I saw that.
So hopefully we can get McCracken County one of those grants in the future.
Well, that would be great. And I know with Kentucky ASAP boards, with some of them, they've involved some youth from the community. So could either of you, specifically Jennifer, with working with the after-school program, how do you see youth in our community participating in a Kentucky ASAP board?
Well, absolutely. They're very much a vital part. We know that youth are so important to our future. We also know that so many of them actually have substance abuse issues at home where they actually see that. And so if we can really talk to them and help them to recognize the signs early, also we can help them to gain more knowledge in the area, and then hopefully be able to have them or their family be able to reach out for resources and help.
Another reason to have youth involved is really youth listen to other youth much better than they listen to somebody my age coming in and talking to them. Plus, they can tell us what's going on with other youth, and they can give us ideas on how to reach them.
And there's currently some kind of programming for, I know that you worked with the health department doing some prevention before, so there's currently some programming going on in some of our schools, is that correct?
Absolutely. We even have a conference every year. It's called the DAC conference, which is Drugs, Alcohol, and Tobacco. And it is for all area high schoolers. What they do is they offer it up to each school, and they can bring like 10 kids. And it's a whole day that we focus on nothing but substance abuse issues. We talk about tobacco and ways to not, be able to say no, and also how to handle if you or someone you know are smokers. We also have, this year they're going to have Miss Kentucky come and speak, and they're going to get to learn all kinds of things about different drugs such as marijuana, and then be able to be empowered to go back into the schools and actually do programming there themselves. Back to what Ellen said about how youth actually respond better when they hear it from themselves.
Right. And that's something that I want to point out too, is that in working with you all, I've learned that it's so important to have that comprehensive education for the kids, all the way from elementary school to high school, just keeping that education going throughout their careers to really have some prevention, so when they're adults they know how to handle that if they're faced with that in their lives.
Exactly. It's really, really important to start in the elementary years. We don't want to wait until high school to start talking about substance abuse.
Well, with the Kentucky ASAP board, if we'll kind of move back to that, is there anything specifically that that every Kentucky ASAP board has to measure or anything like that? What do they measure when they become a Kentucky ASAP board?
Well, normally what they measure is the 30-day use rates of youth. 30-day use is considered current use, so we like to look at those and see if we're making an impact there. We also look at how youth perceive how dangerous the drug is, and that gets back to the marijuana, where we're seeing kids don't think it's as dangerous as they used to, so our fear is that they're going to start using it again.
Well, and I know both of you are very passionate in the work that you do, so how can a Kentucky ASAP board support you in the work that you all are doing?
Well, it's really important there again for the community to get together and do this at the community level. I think there's a lot of things that can be put in place that aren't in place now in Paducah and McCracken County. Like I said, it's great that we have our smoke-free policy, but we'd like to see that go all the way out into the county, not just in the city. We could do things like a social host law, which is where we hold parents responsible for hosting parties where they allow kids to drink alcohol. We'd like to see pain clinics. Some of the pain clinics that are not legitimate, we need to keep those out of our city because they are a terrible source of prescription drugs.
And Jennifer?
Well, there's also the events like Red Ribbon Week that you've probably heard about. There's Family Day, which is when we really encourage students to sit down with their family and actually have a meal together. We know that by doing that their rates of substance abuse are less likely. They're also, it affects all kinds of risky decisions. So the ASAP boards could very much help whenever those events are going on in the schools to be a face, to actually put some recognition behind that name. And really, just any time that you can support them, we know that by supporting the youth, you're also impacting the entire community. So it's very important.
Well, and anytime you have all those agencies at the table, it's much easier to get the word out to the whole community, because it's not something that just one person can do or even 10 people can do. We need everybody to work together to get community level change, which is what we're working for.
And that's why the United Way is so excited about the possibility of becoming a Kentucky ASAP board with all the people we have at the table, because we know there's a lot of agencies and a lot of good work going on in our community. And if we can all come together and be more strategic, then hopefully we can change those numbers and what substance abuse looks like in our community.
Right.
And if you're interested in learning more about our Impact Poverty Study, which tracks our substance abuse prevention, please visit our website. We'll be updating that as we go. And thank you all for being on this segment with us today.
And I'd like to invite anyone that's interested in substance abuse prevention to come join us at our ASAP meetings.
Absolutely. And if you're interested in that, you can call our office or you can email me, and we'd be happy to have you on board. And in just a minute, we'll have our second segment, and we are excited that you'll be back with us. Welcome back to Your United Way. We're switching gears on this segment to a little bit of a lighter note, and I have two new guests on this segment for our annual Elimination Dinner. And before we dive into talking about the Elimination Dinner, if you all can introduce yourselves, Leanne and Joe, and tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got involved with the United Way.
My name is Leanne Morse, and I'm the clinical manager of Inpatient Rehabilitation Services at Baptist Health Paducah. And I started out working with the United Way as a representative for our hospital, and am a board member for the United Way, and then have worked with the Elimination Dinner since we started hosting it.
And Joe?
I'm Joe Tarantino. I work for the United States Enrichment Corporation, and I got involved with United Way about 30 years ago at work, through work, supporting it, and then got more involved more recently with being on the board and supporting the United Way locally.
Well, we're very excited that you all are here today, and Baptist Health and USEC are both big supporters of the United Way. We partner with you all on many things, and we're very appreciative of that. If you guys could share with us, why is the work the United Way does so important to you?
Well, it reaches out to the community. It does so much good for so many people in our community, and the United Way is not just one organization, but it works with many partner organizations throughout our community and touches the lives of not just children, but the whole age span, and schools, healthcare, people's basic needs, meets them where they are and tries to help them move forward from there.
And Joe?
Well, United Way is that agency that's an integral part of this community. And as Leanne mentioned, those partner agencies are just so critical to those people who have needs that we don't necessarily see every day. And then more importantly, the way we've expanded into education through the Reading Pals program and Stuff the Bus, and then the Impact Poverty Initiative is just tremendous for this. So all that support that comes to United Way to support those programs is just critical for the community.
Well, and a lot of people hear about our annual campaign every year. We are in the middle of our annual campaign, and that obviously raises dollars for us to allocate to our partner agencies. But we do also have our Elimination Dinner, which you all are both on the Elimination Dinner committee. And a lot of people hear Elimination Dinner, and they have no idea what that means. So can you guys share what the process of an Elimination Dinner looks like?
Well, an Elimination Dinner is, you can think of it as a raffle in reverse. You know, most raffles, you sell tickets and then you draw a winner. But this is just the opposite of that. You sell tickets, but then the winners are not drawn until the very end. And so as you go through and you draw tickets at the beginning, you basically eliminate people from winning the grand prize.
Okay, and tell me about winning. Is there just one winner at the end of the evening, like a grand prize, or can there be multiple winners?
Well, it could be either or,
Right.
depending on how people look at it or view it at the end. Because basically, it's a $5,000 grand prize, but you have the option. The last 5 people who basically remain standing at the end of the game have the option of splitting the prize, or going on and for the grand prize. And it takes all 5 to agree to split, or we keep drawing until the grand prize
have
is
one
drawn.
winner.
Yeah.
And last year, I believe, did 2 people split it last year? Is that what happened? It was that 2 people split it at the end?
Yes, you are correct. We got down to 5, and in prior years, we always had everybody agree to just split
Right.
the 5,000. But last year, we had an individual who wanted to go for the grand prize, and so unfortunately, they were eliminated on the next draw. But then it kind of caught on, and we got down to 2, and they split it.
And I believe in the years past, too, if we have extra tickets at the dinner, as the night goes on, we raffle those off. Is that correct, Leanne? Is that how we
Yes,
have
yes,
done
we
that?
auction those off periodically through the evening. So we'll have small groups of tickets, and then we will auction those. And of course, the closer it gets to the elimination, the more popular those tickets become, because your chances are much greater to win. So.
And if your ticket's already been drawn, you can buy back in by buying those extra
That's
tickets.
correct.
So that's
Yes.
that's a good way to look at it. Well, can you tell what's the date and the time of the elimination dinner this year?
It is Friday, October the 18th, and it starts with hors d'oeuvres and kind of mix and mingle at 6:30, and then dinner and the beginning of the elimination part of the program begins at 7.
And where is it going to be at this year?
It's going to be at the Purple Toad Winery.
Okay. And has it always been at Purple
It
Toad?
has always been there. They're a great host. They're great to the United Way and their support of the community. So it's great we partner with them for this event.
And what will the food and entertainment look like this year?
Well, the food will be provided by Laura Duff.
Oh, that's always
and so
good.
she has a nice menu set out
Yes.
for us to provide to everyone. And then our entertainment is strings and siren.
Okay. And I know that there are individual tickets. If there's people individually interested in purchasing tickets, how would they do that?
They can contact the United Way, or if they know a board member, then they could obviously ask them, because they'll have tickets and they'll be able to direct them. But they can contact our United Way office directly and purchase tickets. And you do not have to be present to win.
Oh, that's important.
Now, if you want to, if you want to purchase the tickets that, if we have any tickets that will be auctioned that evening, you would have to be present or have someone present
Sure.
to participate in that. But if you purchased a ticket, you could not make it to the event, but you wanted to be supportive and be in the process of the elimination for the $5,000, you can do that and let us know.
And how much is a ticket, and what do you get for one ticket to the elimination dinner?
A ticket is $100, and there are also corporate tables that can be purchased for $500, which is 4 tickets. What you get, it's for 2 people. One chance to win, though, but it's for 2 people to come out and have a nice dinner and enjoy an evening with friends and colleagues here from the community. Let me also say that there are prizes throughout the course of the elimination. So the first ticket that we pull will get a prize, and the 50th, and on like that until we get down to the 5 remaining.
So there's gifts throughout the night. It's not
Yes.
just the cash prize at the end.
Correct.
Well, that makes a big difference. And corporate tables, if they're interested in purchasing a corporate table, what would they need to do?
The same thing, either contact a board member or contact the United Way office and let us know what company that they are representing, and then they would get 4 tickets, which would represent 8 people, and they would have a table that would have their company's name on the table. And if they do purchase that in advance, we will have signage that will represent and recognize them for supporting our event.
All right. And what time can people get there to register that evening? I think you may have said that before, but I'd like to highlight that again.
And they can start with mix, mingle, hors d'oeuvres, drinks at 6:30, and then dinner and the elimination part of the evening begins at 7.
Well, and I always like to point out the elimination dinner is kind of a fun part of my job. I love what I do all the time, but the United Way campaign, it's a lot of work, a lot goes into it. And you all as the Elimination Dinner Committee do a lot for us. We want to say thank you for heading everything up and doing all of that. And I want to remind everyone that the Elimination Dinner, all the proceeds from that do go straight back into our community as well, which is very important. I don't know if there's anything else you all would like to add about the Elimination Dinner.
I think it's a great evening and people enjoy it. They like to come back to it year after year. So if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, I think it's a great event for people to come to and support a good cause and have a chance to win.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And we typically have around 200 people there.
We do.
It's our 4th year doing this, and it's grown and gotten more popular. So, like Leanne said, it's just a fun evening. We try to move through the raffle or the drawing very quickly so that we know it's been a work day for people on a Friday, but it is also a fun evening and a nice dinner. So.
Right. Well, we're very
out and
excited
join us.
about the Elimination Dinner. And if you're interested in purchasing a ticket or you want to learn more about the Elimination Dinner, you can visit our website at www.unitedwaypaducah.org or call our office at 442-1691. Well, thank you for joining us for another Euro United Way show. We appreciate your support.